Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today I want to talk about maps. I've never really talked about maps before because I don't really make the world maps that you see in my games, but I wanted to talk about them because it's a fun Friday and I do have a reason for wanting to talk about maps, which I will get to in just a second, but I wanted to kind of do my kind of rambling preamble stuff. I love maps. I've always loved maps, even as a kid. My room was full of maps. I had maps that I would get from when our family would take car trips, and we would stop at a gas station and they would give you maps of the area. It might have been a road map. It might have been like, here's a map to beautiful Luray Caverns, which is someplace we went because we all really wanted to see the rock formations that looked like eggs and bacon. I had theme park maps. There was a theme park in Virginia called King's Dominion that we went to several times. But my family also went to Disney World a couple times, and I had maps from those places, and I would just put them up on the wall, and even had a globe. I was one of those kids who liked looking at a globe, so I had a globe in my room. I don't even remember where it came from, and it was metal. It was like a solid globe. I know I've mentioned that I like Lord of the Rings and the Conan books. Both of those have maps in the front. And I used to just stare at those maps. I just open it up and look at the map in the first few pages and just imagine, even after I'd read the stories, I like to look at those maps and just kind of imagine what all the other places on the map were like. In fact, when I was in probably 5th grade, we were told to do a school project where we had to make something that was, I'm trying to remember the theme of it. We had to make something that was like a diorama or something that explained something. It wasn't necessarily had to be science, but what myself and two other kids, we decided to do as ours a map of the neighborhood with the school at the center. And I know what you're thinking. Now you could just bring up Google Maps and print, but we did have a map, but it was such a high scale map that our local area was really tiny. It was hard to make out. So we actually went out on the weekend and looked at the streets and sketched and worked out what the directions were. And the teacher did give us a restriction that all of our houses had to appear on the map, that the school should be in the center. And me and one kid lived about a block from each other, but the other kid lived really far on the other side of the school, which meant we had to make the map pretty big. And we did it, and it worked really well. I think we got an A on it. I wish I had kept it. I remember us talking about who was going to take it home, and I never did. I think one of the other kids did. I hope they didn't throw it away. But the whole reason I'm making this is I recently framed my Arcanum cloth map. I know. It was sitting in a drawer for almost a quarter of a century, and I finally got around to framing it because I was worried it was going to get... It had been folded a long time, and I spread it out and got it pretty flat. These are really rare. They didn't make a lot of them. I thought I had multiple copies. Multiple copies. I thought I had multiple cloth maps. If I did, I've given them all away. I could only find one. So I decided, okay, I don't want this thing ever getting lost or, possibly getting ripped. It's a pretty flimsy cloth. So I spread it out really flat. I bought a frame. I got it in there. It looks pretty good. I'll probably put it back here so you may see it in later videos. That made me think of how much I like maps in games. I like playing RPGs that have really, really cool maps. And this isn't something that used to happen. There used to be a lot of games where you had to map on paper for fun of it, especially dungeons. And I still remember when Ultima Underworld came out because it had a really cool map. And not only did it look good, it looked like a piece of papyrus or vellum, but you could write on it. All the writing on here is what the player put in. It just drew the map and showed the rooms and also where water was and where lava was. But you could click on the map and type anywhere you wanted. And so a lot of people would click and put a number, and then over here where there's a lot of space, they'd make their own key. I thought that was really cool. It was really cool. Wanted to do it in Fallout, but it really never came up. But I still liked Fallout's map, which we actually used data from the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, to make the map for Fallout. So that is actually how Southern California looks. All the mountains, all the rises and falls and valleys, that's exactly the right data. So our world map artist drew on top of that USGS data to make the Fallout map, and I thought that was pretty cool. But my favorite map of all the games I made, I think probably is Arcanum. I love the look. It reminded me, and I think I gave this to him as a touchstone of all these Judges Guild maps that I have. And I mean, I have dozens of these, but they're just really cool. I mean, they unfold really big, as you can see, and I've kept them in really good condition, and I just love the look. I'm not sure, it's even stupid that I don't print it out, but it's really detailed, and we got that on the Arcanum. And I like the look and not just the look, but I also like how the Arcanum map works when you're going across it and you have a random encounter, or you can put different waypoints on. And it was just something that made me go, as much as I love the look of this, I like the functionality, because I like things that are beautiful, but I want functionality first, which is just something I want to throw out there, that if you're going to make a map for your game, please make your map functional and then make it pretty, because I think that too many games out there have these really pretty maps that are hard to use, or it's hard to tell what's going on, or it's hard to see points of interest on the map because they didn't really think that through. They just wanted a pretty map, and then they worried about functionality later. I'm not going to call those out, but you've all played games with bad maps. And then the last thing I wanted to do was, I'll put a video, I'll put a link below. I have a whole video where I talk about Judges Guild, and there's pictures and stuff in there so you can see what I mean and why I like Judges Guild modules so much. But another link I wanted to give is, recently I've been watching a YouTube channel on art in games, and especially maps. It's called JP Couvert. I'll put a link below. But keep in mind, I am not an artist. I am a terrible artist. But I love watching JP's channel because he's really upbeat, and the art style he has is really cool. And when he makes maps, they just look very inviting. Like, I want to play a game that has that map in it. So if you do feel like making maps for your games, I highly recommend JP's channel, because I think he gives a lot of really good pointers on how to make maps look really good. Anyway, that's my Fun Friday map video, because yes, I'm just super proud of myself for finally framing this Arcanum map and getting it out of a drawer where I thought it was going to get ripped all the time. Anyway, have a fun Friday.